Hey everybody, this is Alex Fabrega coming at you again with another Teaching Tips Tuesday. Today I have with me Kelly Wilson. She's a TVI here at FBC. How you doing today, Kelly?
Good. How are you, Alex?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for being on Teaching Tips Tuesday.
Of course.
So, a question I often get asked when I'm out in the field is how I'm going to determine service times after performing my functional vision assessment. And one of my favorite tools is the Michigan Severity Scale. And I understand that you have a bit of expertise in this area.
Oh, yes. So the official title is actually the Michigan Vision Services Severity Rating Scale. So it's kind of a long title. I kind of say the same thing as you a lot of times, like Michigan Vision Rating Scale or something condensed. But yeah, that's also a tool that I use, and I would love to share more about it.
Absolutely. Well, let's get right into it. For those who have never heard of it at all before, what is the Michigan Severity Scale?
So it was created by TVIs in Michigan, pretty much as a tool that teachers of the visually impaired can use to determine their service times. And it has 7 different categories that you can look at. And what I really appreciate about it is that it provides some consistency and continuity for teachers all to be using the same tool when they're determining service times. So I'm just going to walk through a few parts of it with you, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So I guess the point of it is, and the reason that we use it would be to look at students' strengths and areas of growth, to look at their service time, obviously, and then also to provide recommendations that the teacher, the visually impaired, could use for their students. And so there are 7 different categories. The one that I typically use is for students in a more general education setting. So that's kind of the population of students that I'm referencing right now. But there is also another Michigan Vision Services Severity Rating Scale for students with additional needs. I know, mouthful. Um, that you could use if you do have more of a MBSSI or multiply involved student. But today I'll just be talking about the one that's more for our quote unquote typical kiddos. So there's 7 different areas. I'm going to look and read them so I don't miss any.
Sure.
So their first is their level of vision, which is you would find that on their eye report, the medical, it's their visual acuity. The second, their functional near vision. Their next is their reading medium. After that, low vision devices or technology, material preparation, compensatory skills, and communication with students' team or any other pertinent individuals. So what we would look at here is you go through, there's actually a scale and it has, you can rate them 0 to 4. And then at the end, you total up all of your numbers and you put it into this nice little formula and it tells you how many minutes or how often that child should be seen by a certified teacher of students with visual impairments.
So, give us an example. Walk us through like
Yeah.
the reading materials category.
Yeah. Okay. So, for example, say I have a student with low vision. Um, they have optic nerve hypoplasia. Their acuity is 20 over 100 corrected, and overall they're using their vision pretty well, and they're transitioning into kindergarten next year at their local public school. And so I want to recommend my service time. So I would go through. I would start in the first category, and it says level of vision distance acuity. And so it says either none, mild, moderate, or severe, or profound. And then it rates those 0 to 4. So for this student, I would say, okay, they're moderate, a 2, which is between 20 over 100 and 20 over 400 visual acuity. After that, I would look at their field of vision. So if it's a full field, it would be a 0. They don't have a high need in that area. If it's profound, it would be they only have light perception. So for the student, if they have a 90-degree visual field, it would be a 1, which is mild. Then after that, we have their functional near vision. So what size font do they read at? If the student is reading 14 to 18 point font, it would be a 1, which is mild, versus a Braille reader unable to read print would be a 4. Number 3, their reading medium. Again, this just goes from either they read at 12-point font all the way up to learning a new reading medium, whether it's Braille or auditory technology. After that is their low vision devices. So are they learning how to use a piece of technology? So if they're learning how to use a screen reader, that would require a lot more direct instructions. So there'd be a 4, which is profound, versus if they're not using any type of technology and they're not learning any type of technology, it would be a 0, none instruction or no instruction needed at this time.
And then you just keep going down that
Yep.
scale. And I've always liked how well organized the data on the Michigan severity scale is and how relatively simple it is to use. Like, is this kid reading print, reading braille? All right, that's not a hard
Yes.
call to make for
Yeah.
an
And
assessing.
I think it's really important too, because in education, a lot of times we're asked to provide data. And I've noticed with service times, a lot of time it just gives a recommendation and there's not a lot of data besides the I report or the teacher's observations that back that up. And so I think this is a really good hard piece of evidence that you can show and say, hey, your child or the student, I did this rating scale on them. This is exactly where they fall in each category, and therefore here's the severity of their need, and this is how often I think that they should be receiving direct vision services.
I've definitely read IEPs where I've gotten a kid from a previous TVI, and it just seemed like they were making all their data recommendations just shooting from the hip, going off
Yes.
going off instinct.
Yes, I agree. I've
Mhm.
seen many that I feel like are way too many minutes or way too little minutes. And in their defense, when I first became a TBI, I had heard of this rating scale, but no one had really emphasized using it to me. And so I think that if we shared the knowledge of this with all TBIs, that everyone could benefit and we'd have a lot more consistency amongst vision minutes in our students.
All right. Well, do you have anything else about the Michigan scale that you want to cover?
No, I think it's important and great in that everyone should use it. And we can attach a link maybe to the YouTube
Sure. Yeah.
video where you can just click on it
It is
and
free. That's
it
another
is
great thing
free.
about the
Yep,
Michigan severity scale. Yeah.
it
All right.
is.
One more time. What is the full title of this tool?
Okay, it is the Michigan Vision Services Severity Rating Scale.
Excellent. All right. I have one more question for you, Kelly, and that is, what is your favorite part of your job?
Oh, well, I think like most teachers, I would say the kids and the students. However, if I had to elaborate on that more, I think I would say that every day is different working with our students, that you might know how the day is going to go. And then all of a sudden, halfway through, you're like, oh my gosh, this happened. And so I like that I have such a fun and flexible and exciting job and get to work with some really sweet kids.
That is exactly my answer. So I completely agree with you. All right. Thank you so much for being on Teaching Tips Tuesday with us today, Kelly.
Thank you, Alex.
And thank you so much to everybody at home for watching another episode of Teaching Tips Tuesday. As always, if you have a topic you want to see addressed, please leave it in the comments below. I will try and find an expert that we can talk it through with. And we hope to see you next week. Have a good one.